Earlier this week, we showed you how overdevelopment or sprawl has caused a drop in the number of barn owls in New Jersey. In the second part of his series on the barn owls of the Delaware Bayshore, environmental reporter Ed Rodgers takes a look at how severe weather affects these raptors.
It happens every spring and summer along the Delaware Bayshore. Dr. Bruce Colvin is checking on barn owl chicks on farms in this rural area. This pair of adult owls is using a nest box in the rafters of this barn because of the security it provides.
We are losing some structures and places for the owls to nest. A tree cavity or an insecure structure, well, a black rat snake or a raccoon can readily climb up there and get the chicks.
Barn owls live for about 3 years. That short lifespan is marked by a high reproductive rate.
They produce lots of young, and that is balanced against a short adult life. So high productivity, short adult life, that's what's characteristic of the barn owl. And people will see a barn owl in their barn for maybe 10 years and think it's the same barn owl. It's probably been at least a half a dozen different barn owls over that time. They will switch mates, switch nest sites.
Barn owls also give birth to their young in a sequence, as you can see by the different sizes of these chicks.
With barn owls, the eggs hatch every other day, so you end up with a sequential pattern in the ages.
Barn owl numbers have been dropping in New Jersey and other East Coast states. They're endangered in several Midwestern states. One reason is the destruction of grasslands and wetlands where the barn owls hunt for meadow voles. Many old dairy farms and their surrounding meadows have been used for housing or for row crops. Another factor is the weather. There have been 4 serious droughts in New Jersey in the last 20 years. Colvin says those conditions have an impact on reproduction.
If we suddenly get drought in the middle of a nesting season, and then there's fewer prey in the meadows, fewer mice in the meadows as a result of the dry conditions, then the number of young in the nests will change, and can change quickly. And that's part of the strategy of barn owls, where you have some older chicks and some smaller sized ones. If the prey base becomes lower, the older chicks have the best chance of survival, and at least some will survive.
Colvin has been studying the barn owls along the Delaware Bayshore for over 20 years. Each of these chicks will be banded, and researchers will follow the progress of these owls, which play an important role in the wetland and grassland ecosystems.
A barn owl nest, there'll be more than 1,000 rodents brought into that nest during the nesting period of 2 to 3 months. So that's quite a bit of interaction with the prey base that's out there. And I think that's important to recognize, that diversity is important, whether it's small mammals or predators like barn owls.
Ed Rodgers, NJN News, Greenwich Township, Cumberland County.